Look how huge this program is. I can fit my entire head behind this program. Bam, 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 bam. I'm having too much fun. Oh my god, hey! Welcome back to my theatre-themed YouTube channel. If you're meeting me for the first time, hello! My name is Mickey Joe and I am obsessed with all things theatre. I am a professional theatre critic based here in the UK, and this is my theatre-themed YouTube channel where I review the shows that I have been invited to go and see. And today we are going to be talking all about the lush new revival of 42nd Street A-Tip-A-Tap, which is currently playing at Sadler's Wells Theatre in London. It opened at the Leicester Curve prior to its London run, and it is about to be embarking on a nationwide tour. So in today's review video, I'm going to be letting you know what I think of this production, how it compares with different revivals of 42nd Street that I have seen before in the very recent past. For those of you who don't know the show whatsoever, I'm going to give you a little bit of a flavour of it, I'm going to let you know what it's about, and I'm going to tell you about the performances, because that's the thing that has excited me the most. So stay tuned to hear all about this new production of 42nd Street. If you enjoyed today's review, make sure to subscribe to my theatre-themed YouTube channel. I review so many shows on here so regularly, and also do other stuff like features, videos of me going to see shows, interviews with cast members, all sorts of things. If that sounds like something you might enjoy, make sure you're subscribed. You can also find me on other social media platforms. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Mickey Joe Theatre. Now let's talk about this revival of 42nd Street, but first enjoy this thrilling clip of the show's curtain call sequence. So, 42nd Street. This is very heavy, can I just say, holding all of this. I'm going to put this down. You're going to have to imagine I'm holding the programme. So if you don't know, 42nd Street is one of those classic musicals with this old school plot and these old school songs. And it's about a show within a show, which is called Pretty Lady. As we begin, we find out that esteemed Broadway director Julian Marsh is once again putting on a show. Now we're in the midst of the American Depression, so the news that he is going to bring employment to a whole cast of performers is fantastic, and we see all of them tap dancing away in unison, auditioning to be in the chorus for this brand new show. But late to the audition is a nervous, naive, but talented girl from out of town named Peggy Sawyer. She misses the chance to audition for the chorus because she is building up the courage just to walk through the stage door, but she is going to go on a huge journey over the course of the show. What Peggy lacks in experience and industry savvy, she makes up for with phenomenal dance talent. Now the exact opposite to that is Dorothy Brock, a very experienced leading lady who knows all about the industry and how it works. She's incredibly savvy, but she can't dance for toffee. However, the show's songwriters and producers explain to Julian that they have to cast her as the lead in the show, even though she can't dance, because the financier of the show, Abner Dillon, is also her sugar daddy, but not the man that she loves. Complications ensue. The show's plot is not what I would describe as heavy, but it is filled with golden age style pastiche musical numbers and beautiful tap routines and haunting torch songs and old school jokes. And by the end of all of this, there have been one or two surprises that have resulted in a little bit of a casting shuffle, culminating in a performance of Pretty Lady with so much at stake. So what's always interested me about this show is, even though it feels so classic and so old school and so golden age and so sort of anything goes esque, it was written much more recently. This show first appeared on Broadway in 1980, but it's based on a Hollywood film from the 30s and is sort of a jukebox musical because it uses golden age music, which is a perfect choice stylistically. We get all of these wonderful tap numbers. What we end up lacking from that is songs that speak incisively to each character's motivations and specific situations. But it's not that style of a show. It's more like an anything goes, where the songs sort of talk around these generic ideas. And there's not really many points during 42nd Street where characters actually sing non-diegetically. Usually if singing is happening, it's because they're rehearsing or performing a musical number for the show within a show. So that's what the show is like. You have all of these different characters. You have sort of these dueling leading ladies. I first want to tell you all about the cast of this production because I'm so excited and I'm not going to wait any longer. So playing the sort of leading lady diva Dorothy Brock, we have Ruthie Henshall, and this is just perfect casting. She's wonderful in this role. As much as it's a little bit disappointing that she doesn't get the opportunity to dance because Dorothy is not a dancer, and Ruthie Henshall has built so much of her career on being like the quintessential triple threat and being an incredible dancer in shows like Crazy for You and Chicago. She's just wonderful in this role nonetheless. Her voice sounds so classic in this. It's smoky and it's a little bit raspy, but it just sounds like this classic Broadway diva. There's something very old school about the tone. And when she's singing "In the shadows, let me come and sing to you," it's such a like beautiful chanteuse kind of a moment. But what puts her squarely above any of the other Dorothy Brocks I have ever seen is this combination of diva attitude and entitlement and the absolute hysterics that she flies into when faced with the possibility that she can't spend time with the man that she really loves. And her indignant jealousy towards Peggy Sawyer is just delicious. It's camp, it conjures up an image of Joan Collins in Dynasty. She gets a perfect read on this character. And if there's one thing Ruthie Henshall understands better than perhaps anyone else, it's that sort of old school jazzy musical theatre kind of a tone. She gets it completely. It's a wonderful performance. Now, as the young Peggy Sawyer, we have Nicole-Lily Baisden, who played Hope Harcourt in the recent revivals of Anything Goes at the Barbican. Now, in that capacity, she got to watch leading lady Sutton Foster dancing up a storm effortlessly across the stage and doing shenny turn after shenny turn and all of these tap steps. And I think that it's a beautiful full circle moment that in this production, she gets to do all of that for herself and she gets to become that leading lady. What I think is so fantastic about her Peggy Sawyer is the naivety at the beginning. There's a lot of actresses who have played this role who are phenomenal dance talents, but they sort of don't read quite as green or quite as meek as they're supposed to. And when she comes in, you really don't see all of this coming about her. It's really concealed beneath the surface, and she is so shy and she is so unassuming, but so hugely endearing with the biggest smile on her face. She's incredibly sweet. The transformation is all the more unexpected. You don't think she's going to blossom into this leading lady that she does, but by the end of this show, my God, the tap numbers that she has performed and the company numbers that she has fronted, not only with the dance talent to execute all of the steps flawlessly and tirelessly, and it is firecracker choreography that she is performing. It's these huge, vast numbers, these long tap solos and vocals, and she is dancing on top of pianos, and she's throwing herself around the stage, tapping up a storm. She's just magnificent. But not only that, it's the way that she puts it across. It's the charisma and the leading lady presence and power that she assumes. She is remarkable. She's a wonder, in fact. I'm so glad that in this production, they allow her to take the last bow, because for the last 15 minutes of the show, she owns the entire thing with tremendous star power. The only thing I would tweak about her performance is there's a moment in the second act where Dorothy Brock is coaching her on how to put across kind of an old school Broadway number, and we can hear the difference between the two. Dorothy Brock has this sort of like experienced leading lady style of a voice, and Nicole-Lily's Peggy sounds a lot sweeter and more youthful and more earnest. Now cut to a moment later in the show, right before she's about to sing 42nd Street, and she is assured that this is the big one. This is the moment she really has to land to convince the audience and make the show a hit. And she panics that she can't do it, but then she takes a moment, she takes a deep breath, and then she begins to perform the number. And I wish in that moment, with her full ascension to leading lady, because she's doing it in her dance, she's gone from being sort of timid and nervous to dancing like she owns the damn stage. I wish vocally there was a little bit of a modification as well, where we hear her after having taken a breath, and it's a little more, I can do this, and I have come into my own as a leading lady. I don't need a total like instantaneous vocal shift. I just wish there was more of a sense of gravitas in her vocal at that point, because we get it in just about everything else. Adam Garcia is playing the director Julian Marsh, and I like a lot of what they've done with his character's material in this show, because there are moments in the second act when he is coaching Peggy to give this exceptional performance and helping her to learn the show in an unrealistically short amount of time. There's a moment where there's this sort of romantic spark between the two of them, and he kisses her in rehearsal, and then there's a kiss between them after the show as well. And you get this sense of sort of a romance blossoming between them. And in various different productions, sort of the age gap and the power dynamic between them has been different. Here, they feel a little bit more romantically compatible, and yet they have cut the kisses, which I think is a great choice. Now, he still like holds her and dips her in character to try and explain something to her. But later on at the end, it's sort of a choose your own adventure in terms of the romantic implications of their relationship. There's a little something there, but you don't know if it's just like an admiration or if it's going to go on to become something later down the line, because this is just the beginning of her exciting Broadway career and he's this veteran director. But I like that they've cut the kiss, because it's always a weird note to end the show on. And after what she's been through and how overwhelmed she is, it feels like she's taken advantage of there just a little bit. Sam Lipps is also a joy as the company tenor. I think he's hugely talented. He mostly just gets to sing and dance magnificently in this show, but he is definitely a talent to watch out for. We have some other members of the supporting cast as well who don't have all that much material to play with. Michael Praed is there, and he does what he needs to in the few scenes that he has. Similarly, Les Dennis has a couple of jokes here and there. He's in one comedy number, Shuffle Off to Buffalo. He doesn't make a huge impression, but someone who does make an enormous impression is Josephina Gabrielle. Never has Maggie Jones been played quite so wonderfully, so warmly. She is this matriarch within the company, this mother hen to all of the chorus dancers. She's funny, she's brassy, she performs in Shuffle Off to Buffalo as well and puts all of the comedy across with this other classic, like Broadway kind of a vibrato. I think Josephina Gabrielle is just sensational. She's wonderful in this role. She could also play Dorothy Brock. Let's be clear about Josephina Gabrielle's talent, but she is just magnificent in this part. If you're at all a fan of her work, go and see her in this show. She's tremendous in it. So you may have already begun to get a sense of this, but I thought this production was just wonderful. I have seen 42nd Street 3 times now, including this production. I saw it in Paris at the beginning of this year. I saw the Theatre Royal Drury Lane revival, which was a very traditional revival of the show a few years ago. And this one was my favourite, largely because everyone was so well cast. Everyone just completely so well cast. And the balance of this show, because of the way that it sort of portrays talent, is so important. You need a Dorothy Brock who can deliver, you need a Peggy Sawyer who can deliver, you need a Julian Marsh who you believe, you need talent spilling out across the stage, and sometimes this can be a little bit skewed by star casting, but just exceptional here. It's a wonderful company of brilliant talents with a treasure trove of industry experience among them. Oh my god, hey, it's me, slightly later. I think what happened here is I got so wrapped up in the delight of this production and trying to convey my joy about it to you that I forgot two completely legitimate points that I wanted to make, and I just won't be able to sleep if I don't put them into this video, so you're getting it a few days later. My hair is different. I apologise for the lack of continuity. One of them is a costume note, and the other one is a music note. The costume design is by Robert Jones, and the musical supervisor was Jennifer White. So, costume-wise, I enjoyed most of the costumes. There were a couple that looked discernibly cheaper than previous productions of 42nd Street that I've seen. I'm talking about like the gold sequiny hot pants, which I just wish they were more of a gold and less of a yellow. It was just more of a yellowy sequin and it just looked a little bit cheap, as did those bleach blonde wigs. And if they were going for a thing where it kind of like reflected this cheaper aesthetic in the pretty lady world of the show versus the world of 42nd Street, then maybe, but I didn't really feel a through line of that throughout. I just felt as though they were cheaper sequin hot pants. But what I loved costume-wise was this, I don't know if it was like bronzy, but the dress that they first put Nicole-Lily Baisden in as Peggy Sawyer when she came out and when she was taking over the show. That first huge tap number she did where she's tap dancing on a piano, this dress that they put her in, my gosh, it was a gorgeous colour. And the most obvious thing to do is to put her in red, or maybe even like a deep blue, or find this really ostentatious colour, but it was so beautiful on her. Just such a perfect colour for her, this sort of shiny bronze. It was the same one that she bowed in. beautiful, beautiful dress. Whoever made that decision, just, I salute you. Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And the music note. Now, this is not necessarily wrong. I dare say this is what the sheet music says, but I don't like it personally when they start singing Come and Meet Those Dancing Feet on the same beat as the orchestra coming in on Come and Meet Those Dancing Feet. It's all very rubato, it's all very open and slow at the beginning, and you get this big orchestral boom, and I just wish they left it a split second. Both Ruthie and Nicole-Lily both sing this song in the show, and I wish either or both of them just left a breath so that you get boom, come and meet those dancing feet, because otherwise we never hear the word come. We get boom and meet those dancing feet, because inevitably they get overpowered by the orchestral opening to the song. So I just wish we had that I'm singing my little introduction, boom, come and meet those dancing feet. I think more gravitas. It would give us more gravitas, and I wanted gravitas. I lied. I have one more thing as well. Lighting. Lighting design, excellent throughout. Some lovely lighting moments, and they used lighting to make up for a little bit less in the staging, a little bit less in the set. There's a sunny side to every situation. We didn't have this set piece where we can show all of the chorus members sort of commiserating over the show's cancellation, over the fact that it's going to have to close due to the indisposition of their leading lady. It doesn't show them all in their dressing rooms or on phones. They're just stood around, and they're mostly static. The staging of it is very still, but the way we use lighting to flip between different groups is very clever. It's very innovative, and I appreciate that. And it's a nice contrast to like the uber mega dance numbers. It takes a sensible creative team to say there is more than enough movement in this show. Let's do something stiller here, but use lighting to make it still engaging. I'm going to pass you back to me in the past now. Thank you for listening to my thoughts.
Jonathan Church's direction is very interesting to me, because in the backdrop of all of this is the Depression, and it's a big component throughout the show. We get these moments where they go off for a break in rehearsals and they order like 5 cups of boiling water and a tea bag to share amongst them. They are genuinely devastated when it looks like the show might not be going ahead, and the main motivation and the driving force behind everything that happens in the show is the Depression, and is that everyone really needs these jobs. But at the same time, whenever 42nd Street has been done, everyone looks so pristine and colourful and glamorous, and the light bulbs are all on. You get no sense of the poverty and the austerity that lingers just the other side of the stage door, or that that's any kind of real threat for these performers. But it began to creep into this production. There was just a little bit more darkness. Now, it wasn't gloomy darkness, but it was a sort of a twilight, and I appreciated that. I don't know who will be the director brave enough, maybe a production has already happened somewhere, I don't know, to really juxtapose the glitz of 42nd Street with the bleakness of the time period in which it's set. But I appreciate Jonathan Church for sort of just opening the stage door a little and letting the breeze of all of that waft onto the stage. They also make some bold choices. Now, there are some parts of iconic staging from the original production that you may be attached to that are not in this production. We don't have the clever thing they do with the mirrors. We don't use the steps in quite the same way. We don't have the same mass formation choreography at the end. And what really shocked me is they don't do that iconic opening where the curtain rises just to show the feet, doing all of the time steps in unison and then rising higher. That's what 42nd Street has become known for. Instead, we get different pictures on stage, and then we have a lowered curtain, and then it rises just to show the dancers, but their feet are lit in such a way that that's what we see first, and we see the silhouettes of them sort of in this deep blue performing the tap choreography. I think that's actually very clever. I think it's a way of nodding to that iconic visual, but giving it to us in a new way, and that's what Bill Deemer has done with the choreography of this show. It pays homage and it retains some moments of original choreography, but it does something fresh and new that still feels so classic and is still so stylistically familiar of that time period. And you get the delicious moments, you get the steps, you get them running into the train station, you get Peggy Sawyer tap dancing on a piano. It's glorious, it's classic, it's golden age, the whole thing is delectable. I am a sucker for really well executed tap choreography, and this show is full of it. There are so many brilliant moments from the beginning to this rousing, incredible sequence at the end of the show where we have number after number after number. They're great songs, and if you're at all a fan of classic musicals, I think you're really going to love this. And not every character gets a huge amount of depth. People don't really get to sing their feelings super articulately, but what we get is these wonderful company numbers, and it's a brilliant collection of those. So those have been my thoughts on 42nd Street. Like I said, if you're anyone who enjoys classic musicals, go and see this show. If you like beautiful, spectacular dance, go and see this show. Thank you so much for watching today's review. I hope that you have enjoyed. If you did, make sure to subscribe to my theatre-themed YouTube channel. There are many more reviews coming very soon. I hope that everyone's staying safe and that you have a stagey day.
For 10 more seconds, I'm Mickey Joe Theatre. Oh my god, hey. Thanks for watching, have a stagey day. Subscribe!